Um,
Yeah.
so, Welcome to LARP Through A Lens with me, your host, Steve Calley. Today, we're joined by one of my friends, Jack. So, Jack, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello there. I've been doing live action role play now for 20 years. I think it's going on now. Um,
20 years. How old are you, Jack?
20 years old.
So, you've actually literally grown up in the hobby pretty much from when you were born.
Yeah, so started Curious Pastimes at Renewal 2006,
Yeah.
which is about the right span of time. Um, Family went first, so it was me, my uncle, and my dad, and then from there went into mum, and then I appeared on the circuit.
Okay,
Um,
excellent. So, you've been just at Curious Pastimes the whole time? Have you done many other systems?
Curious Pastimes is my main one. I did a short stint at Karum LARP,
Yep.
which is a small LARP system based in Coventry area.
Seedling Productions, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, now it's Seedling Productions. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've changed the name since. Uh, Empire, which I both played and now crew for, and a system called Chaos Gate, which is based here in Cornwall, where I started out as a crew member and then became a referee.
Cool. So, you've done a few different things then.
Yeah, primarily in the scope of high fantasy.
Yeah. Is that your preferred genre then? Do you think high fantasy?
High fantasy, yeah, it's definitely my chosen genre. I like the other genres that are out there, for example, like sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, and things of that nature. But I think my niche seems to be the more historical and high fantasy-based LARP systems.
Okay. And is that the same in role playing games as well? Do you prefer fantasy games?
I've played a mixture of kind of TTRPGs with different genres and things, but fantasy or real life scenario based ones seem to be the two that I seem to be very akin to and very words to very natural to.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite tabletop role playing game?
Currently, Dungeons and Dragons,
Yep.
which you've been a part of, actually a campaign I
Yeah,
ran many
it's
years
true.
ago. Um, God, I'm trying to remember all the list that I have. I actually wrote notes and I've lost my notes. But
It's more organized than I ever am. I don't even get as far
yeah,
as writing the notes, so I won't worry.
um, but yeah, so Munchkin and stuff like that as well. I enjoy playing.
Yeah.
And currently on a mobile game called Game of Thrones Legends, where a few of us are essentially we build factions based on our favorite Game of Thrones groups and stuff.
Okay, cool. So what's it like then growing up in LARP? Could you ever imagine a time where you wouldn't do it or
Um, well, it was something that kind of just came naturally with being around it. So for me, it didn't really feel. It felt more just like general life rather than a
yeah,
hobby to start with. And then as I kind of grew up, I learned more that it's not real life; it's a hobby and it's something we can enjoy. And because when you're a child, you kind of the magic of being at LARP very much takes precedence over kind of remembering spells or remembering admin details that your character has. It's just have fun and be a kid. Um, but yeah, I think I wouldn't. I don't think I could. Kind of, I could. I don't see myself not being in LARP in some sort of form, whether
yeah.
that's working behind the scenes or being at an event. I think that hobby's kind of stuck with me in my heart.
So yeah, if you've done something for that long, I mean, I think I remember rightly. I think I might have remembered your first lap. Um, just show my old age there. But
The
yeah, I think
stories we have.
yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Though, because it's kind of like it's one of those hobbies that, like you say, when you're younger, you can get involved in the story and the fancy of that, and as you get older, there's more and more to it. So you
Yeah,
learn more about it and get more involved in things.
yeah, and it's something I'm very proud of with seeing LARPs and RPGs across the entire UK and Europe is that children are becoming more influential into how plots are done. As you did an
Yeah.
interview, your last one was about a child's LARP, a children's
Yes.
LARP.
Yeah.
So it's great to see those things coming back into the flow of things. It's great to see kids, for example, at Curious Pastimes that are coming in now, who have so many opportunities to adapt and role play and be a part of the main world, even if it's on a smaller level. But kids' Lydias and things of that nature have helped out massively on that.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's we forget sometimes as adults that actually we are playing a game, and you know, kids like playing games too. So why shouldn't they be included? I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's the future of the hobby, isn't it? We'll, if we don't get new people and get new children that involved, then sooner or later everyone's going to be like me and just sat in a chair falling asleep for 3 hours a day.
Yeah, games were built off you sleeping.
Hey, just because I found a founding member of Nap Club, everyone needs a nap.
Yeah, at least
So
one.
in terms of games you've played in that, then are there any games that you're particularly looking forward to playing in the future? Or are you happy with what you're doing currently?
So right now I'm quite happy with what I've got.
Yeah,
The games financially and also just time with university and things of that nature. Right now, the games I'm doing are the ones I can easily get to and can be around.
yeah,
Um, I am though looking at potentially crewing some different systems though in the future. Looking at Beyond Ragnarok
yeah.
as a crew member. Pieces of Eight is one I'm looking at
Yeah.
crewing for.
Hoping to do an
And
interview with Bobby and Susanna at some point from Pieces of Eight.
yeah,
Just trying
they're
to pin them
really good
down when they're
bunch.
not busy running something.
Well, they're out this weekend, so they're having a really good time, and I love what they've built,
Yeah,
and it looks like a great system. Outside of that, I'm building my own system at the moment, as you know, Steve, for the past couple of years.
yeah. It's
The
that
team are,
narrative legacies, isn't it?
yeah, Narrative Legacies is the brand. We're working currently on getting the last bits of our nations finished that will come out to our potential player base. The wiki is already out, so people can look at seeing how we've done the LARP rules, D&D rules, and how they correspond together as well. So we've brought those two worlds together, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, because that's quite a unique thing you've done there, isn't it? You've tried to sort of marry the two close together, whereas a lot of systems kind of keep them very separate. You're trying to do a tabletop and LARP. It's kind of a homogenous thing, aren't you?
Yeah, so the idea is that behind it is that the LARP events happen and they are their own thing, but the D&D events will also affect the storylines and vice versa. They'll affect each other's storylines to make sure that players that might not be able to make a LARP could make a D&D, and
Yep.
their decisions can massively affect how we run a plot line for an event, or may even change an event completely because of how things have gone.
It's interesting because it gives you a bit more. It's like if you've got 20, 30 people playing a D&D campaign that has an influence on the rest of the world, you've got 20 or 30 extra plot writers because you've got
Yeah,
people getting involved that wouldn't necessarily normally be involved. So that's quite cool.
yeah, and all the team are very kind of adept with D&D, so we've been able to kind of look at how we can do spells. So a lot of our spells in the LARP we've actually brought over to D&D and actually made them effective within the 5e rule set. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
they all flow very well. So there's stat blocks for each thing. There's um, how we do spell counters and stuff of that nature. They're all together. So it's really well put together. Props to the team who have done an amazing job of getting that all built up with me. They do
Yeah.
an incredible job.
So, in terms of your long LARP career, it's obviously like 20 years, like you said. What's been your highlight? Is there anything in particular that stands out?
Oh God, there's a few moments. I mean, you're in a few of them. Um, one was definitely one was of it's a sad moment, but it was a defining moment for I think my LARP career was seeing actually was you semi-retire at the
Yeah.
faction event we've just had, that was a moment that hit quite a few of us quite hard, and really gave some awesome role play for me to think about how's that going to work, how's that going to structure everything, not just in the war host but in the grander scheme of things, which was really cool to work through. um, I think one was actually gaining the rank card of Khan, because that
Yeah.
wasn't really a rank in Curious Pastimes. It was more, you had the Genghis rank, but that was it for a long time. And the Khan rank itself didn't really exist. So it was awesome to see that push forward and brought in as an actual physical rank card,
Yeah.
which was great. Otherwise, defining moment. I think a defining moment as well is celebrating. I think, yeah, celebrating the 18th birthday at
Yeah.
Curious Pastimes at LARP, because that's something that kids don't do. It's not common to see someone at 18 years old, instead of going the pub for a drink somewhere out with their mates, actually going to a field and being a part of a world and celebrating that way. It's a very
Yeah.
different way of celebrating a birthday, and that was very cool for me. And doing the first battle, my first ever
Yeah.
battle at Curious Pastimes, which you were one of the lucky ones that actually was right next to me for the entire
I was.
thing.
I was. I think for me, it's one of those things as well because my first battle was God, 32 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
And I honestly, I can't remember what it's like to go on a battlefield for the first time. It must be. All I can imagine is it's quite daunting because suddenly you've got 100 odd people running at you.
I think as well, being autistic, it was a massive thing for me to overcome,
Yeah.
because the sensory side of it was massive for me. What people didn't realize on that field was I was actually stimming for about
Yeah.
90% of the entire battle, because I was trying to regulate
Yeah.
with the explosions and all the shouts and things.
So I
But
remember when you were
being,
a lot younger, you used to have ear defenders, and that didn't you? So when there were battles on, you'd actually stay away from them with ear defenders. So to actually see you get to the point that you can take part in a battle was pretty amazing, to be honest.
yeah, it was definitely a challenge, for a long time, was me actually being used to that sensory.
Yeah.
Um, I think at one point I remember, we had a full day, and it was, they had rolling combat encounters one after the other, and I had to earpiece up for about half the day because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it was a massive thing for me. I didn't even need earplugs, but it was just a massive thing for me to walk in and off the battlefield and be fine. And I think I only needed like a hug was afterwards. Like,
Do you think LARP's helped you with your autism in a way?
definitely, I think on a social level, it's helped me be able to communicate better with people. It's helped me to find my feet with how I find social cues as well,
Yeah.
understanding the social dynamics between what's not okay and what is okay. Um, and it's also, I'd say, for other conditions as well outside of the autism, it's helped my dyspraxia.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of sword training. So because I do that sword training and it gets used at events, it allows me to have a focus. So if I do have a floppy arm moment, I at least know I'm doing it safely and I can
Yeah.
control that. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely been something that's kind of helped. I've got hypermobility as well, so I've got all the joint issues as well, which has been a massive thing to try and overcome. Something that definitely came up at E1 just gone for Curious Pastimes, where I had to strip down to, I think it was just my leather armor and my American football pads because I was in
Yeah.
that much pain. But yeah, it's definitely, the conditions I've got have definitely helped me grow into
Yeah.
who I am now and understand what I can do to better support myself and better help others as well. I've recently just helped a couple of my friends who had no idea about LARP, who have got autism and things of that nature, and actually they were able to attend the events and just flourish their
Yeah.
social anxiety completely gone
That's
for
really
that
good.
period of time, and it was because we introduced it slowly
Yeah.
and we brought them to D&D first, which is quite an odd route to do D&D first, then LARP in a that
Well,
kind
you
of
say it's
way.
odd. That's how most people get their Jack. It's just yours was very
Yeah,
different.
yeah, mine was very different. Odd for not me, which
Yeah.
is yeah,
It's interesting because I've spoke with not related to this, but I've spoke to people from a couple of other things, and we hopefully when we open our store, we're going to do a lot of work with some charities and things. But we are aware, and we've learned that things like Dungeons and Dragons and like that allow people that wouldn't necessarily be quite socially aware or put themselves out there because their character's doing it. It's a lot easier to sort of take that step because it's not them, and then it's a
yeah,
step. It makes it easier when they want to talk. Then they've sort of got past that first hurdle with their character. If that makes sense.
yeah. It's immersion. It's the immersive storytelling. That's
Yeah,
kind of it changes the psyche because you're not worrying about you, the person, at that point. You're worrying just about your character.
yeah,
And in some cases, some D&D games, I've done it before, where I've just said to my plot, my group, I've just gone, don't worry about your character sheets for this next session, just role play. Let's try
yeah,
and learn your characters. Let's learn who you are. Let's try and get those relationships formed. And it works. And you find people become, as you said, much more confident and are able to do things that they would then take into further life.
yeah,
I was watching, I think it was on Vice, which is a YouTube kind of news outlet, and they were
yeah,
talking about in America a gentleman who had autism, and essentially he was so like struggled with life and so insular, and was actually dealing with suicidal thoughts that he was taken to LARP, and ever since he's been doing LARP because it's helping his mental health and it's given him a job. He's been able to find a job through the hobby,
it's
um,
amazing.
which is incredible to see, especially because he was more on the spectrum than I am.
Yeah,
I'm quite high functioning on the spectrum. He was just a bit more further in, but it massively helped him out.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? With LARP and role playing games in general, it gives the opportunity to do things that you couldn't necessarily do in real life, and to try things out and go, well, actually, could I do that?
Yeah, I've seen many people with Asperger's and learning difficulties and things find their feet within, I say, RPGs and things, and then develop that into other hobbies. So a lot of people I know have gone from not knowing how to do any sort of sword combat to then doing D&D and kind of seeing how they would action the
Yeah.
motions, and then going to a school, going to a HEMA school or something of that nature, and learning. Uh,
For those that
yeah,
don't know what HEMA is historical European martial arts. So basically, learning how to fight with medieval weapons, so swords, pole arms, spears, all that different kind of thing, and actually being taught all of the techniques from manuscripts and such like. It's very interesting. I tried a little bit of it, and mostly my teacher was far too good. But that's the way he's been doing it for. Well, he's probably doing it for about 30 years, so he's a bit further ahead than me.
yeah, yeah,
But it's interesting actually because there's quite a crossover with HEMA as well, isn't there? Because I know for a fact there's several people that come to Curious Pastimes that do HEMA and teach HEMA, but it's kind of it's because you learn the sword skills and everything, don't you? So it's quite good in that way.
yeah. I did a LARP uh, gladiatorial arena
Yep.
actually here in Cornwall, and we had a HEMA group who were right opposite us in the other field. They heard about what we were doing, came over, and actually took some of us on in combat. But the instructor for them had to tell them no stabbing, no head
Yeah.
hits, which is two of their fundamental forms of combat is
Yeah.
stabs and head hits.
So I've
So
seen the person I know that does it, Jim, did a lot of Fiore, which is Italian longsword. and
Yeah.
he's the only person I've seen him disarm someone when they've got a sword and he hasn't got anything. And I've seen him do it, and you're like, yeah, it's a fluke. And then he did it again with their other sword, and I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's ridiculous. Like,
Um,
how do you even do that? And he's just like, there we go, I'll take your sword. And I'm like, right, fine. I didn't need it anyway.
but you I noticed a lot of those Xena fighters then kind of came back to us and went, "Wow, that's a really different style. Like we're
Yeah.
not used to fighting LARP style." And that was quite a thing for me to hear. LARP style, not
Yeah,
just
because I
normal
suppose
combat.
there's a lot you can do with well, this is the interesting actually, and I've had this conversation with people in the past. But with a real sword, people are like, well, you couldn't do that with a real sword. You can do a lot more with a real sword than you can with a LARP sword, because the
Yeah,
real sword's built in such a way that it will take those stresses and tolerances. And when you look at things and think, oh, you couldn't do that, yeah, you probably could. You're probably less likely to be able to do it with with a LARP weapon.
yeah,
So I suppose our style's adapted to that and the weight.
yeah. I mean, especially with the carbon fiber and the what are they called? My brain is fiberglass, the fiberglass cores and everything of that nature,
Yeah,
and how we build our weapons. They are much different in many different ways. Um, I actually did a comparison whilst I was at the Gladiator Arena, where I picked up a HEMA training sword, not even a metal one, just one of their,
these the white ones.
yeah, the white ones I picked up.
Yeah,
And I picked up a LARP sword, and the difference straight away, I noticed it. And
yeah,
then I did a flick with one, and it felt more natural to do it with a LARP sword because
yeah,
you can move them around quite easily. Um, but yeah, HEMA has definitely become a massive crossover now with LARP. You see a lot more now, especially in factions where you see more HEMA fighters now actually going, "Hey, I will teach the entire
show you how
faction."
to. Yeah, I think it's
Um,
good though because it kind of raises the game for everyone, doesn't it? It's all well and good, like being the best sword fighter in the land, but if you've never like been shown how to do it, you're never going to get better. You need that sort of person who's going to go, well, actually, have you thought about this?
yeah, and I've had that myself. I recently got taught a different style of fighting, just single handed sword,
Yeah,
and it completely changed my fighting style, which was really lovely to do now, especially with an arming sword, which was the style they taught me. But yeah,
yeah.
the crossovers are massive now, and I think it's going to be a lovely relationship between the two as they keep growing together.
It's one of those things, well, isn't it? All of these things, so HEMA, tabletop role playing games, LARP, they're all become much more, I suppose, mainstream. You know, you can talk to people about it and people won't be like, what's that? I mean, you still do occasionally get what's LARP, but I think there's a lot more people now that understand what it is compared to like even 20 years ago when you started, but there would, people wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm based here in Cornwall, and we've only got a couple of LARPs down here. There's
Yeah.
not actually many down here in Cornwall. We've got Chaos Gate, which is
It's
a
far
small.
away.
I know it's far
I mean, it's
away.
lovely, but it's far away. Why
Yeah,
can't it be
but then I
lovely
do the
but
trip
close?
up. Yeah. Um, but yeah, we've got a system in North Devon called the Money Chronicles, which you see a lot of LARPers now going to. It's based
Yeah.
on Norse, Celtic, and the Dark Ages, and it's a brilliant system. The site is
Yes.
gorgeous. I filmed on there myself, doing a bit of film work for college and stuff. Which, again, education in LARP, and we'll go into that probably later. But education within LARP is such a big thing that's come into my life.
Yeah.
So
You mentioned education a lot then. So is that something you've taken an interest in?
yeah, so I for my what was it for my college projects, I did two films for LARP, but I did essays and research into Curious Pastimes, and I did research into Empire, and learnt about more the less the admin side of things, but more the psychology of it. What are they
Yep.
trying to get out of their players? Is it just immersion? Is it storytelling? Is it combat? Is it politics? What is it that makes that system tick a little bit? Well, especially with their USPs,
Yeah.
um, which was a massive part of it. But it helped me to build films for the LARP I'm running. So
Yep.
we've actually got a video out on our wiki which you can watch. It's being a bit buggy at the moment, but we're trying to sort it out as best as possible. But literally, that video tells you all the nations. It's voiced by the amazing voice actor John Bliss, who, Steve, we've
Oh,
both known
amazing.
for
Yeah, John's brilliant.
his voice work is incredible.
Yeah.
He did the voiceover for it. We allowed people from Cornwall and Devon and all sorts to come and do it. And it was an amazing experience to kind of go, right, what makes these LARPs work, and how do they function, and how have they changed? But I've brought that with me, and I've also brought it into university now. So I was inspired by a lovely woman called Pip, who I think they're doing a doctorate in LARP.
Okay. Yeah.
She's just written a paper which is going to be possibly published into creative events management as a subject. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that paperwork, because I'm going to be reading that tomorrow. But I've looked at, so I'm currently just doing an assignment based off Curious Pastimes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at essentially how they could further develop children and families into plot. So how can they further develop that? How can they make that more accessible?
Like I say, having been there from like birth, pretty much, all the way to 20, you've gone through all those different brackets as well, haven't you? So you've got that experience of what it's like to transition from one to another, where the sort of the sticking points are, because there's going to be parts where a 12-year-old doesn't necessarily want to be doing the same as a 9 or 10-year-old, but isn't quite old enough to do the same as the 13-year-old or whatever. So you've got that unique experience.
Yeah, and it was a story that got told to me recently, and I had to look it up. Was one of our friends at Curious Pastimes in the Step Alliance faction was telling a story about when my mum retired. So when she retired from the system, from Curious Pastimes and from LARP, the story was told about the children being really stuck because the older kids at the time kind of took over the plot for that encounter. So it meant that all the kids that were younger didn't really get a chance to engage it. So what they did was they told the referee, hey, can we stay here a moment and just do something for the kids? And from there on, that developed into, now you are seeing within Curious Pastimes like 2 or 3 different bracket types for young peoples. So I think they've got like under 5s, I think they've got, or like a 5 to 10, I think, and it's 10 to 12, and then a 15 plus. And then once you reach 16, you're pretty much an adult in the eyes of Curious Pastimes game, which is really cool.
It's good, isn't it? Because, like you say, different people of different ages are going to be interested in different parts of the game and different things.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that has taken into account from when I've been writing my own LARP system. So we've actually written a kid race, so a child's race, into the game, to allow children to feel not like, oh, I'm just me and I'm stuck within these brackets of what I can play. What we've actually said is to our player base out there is, if you've got a child, then we call them titchlings. It's because they're small and it makes sense. And what we did was essentially, they don't get a stat block, so they don't get choice of late XP or whatever. But what they can do is they can learn every skill in the game, and they can change their race up as much as they like until they find the one they like to play.
Okay, yeah.
So a child from, I think we're doing it from like 5 till about 16, they can change their race as much as they like. They can learn the skills they want to play, and then once they reach 16, they've got to lock it all in. And then
it gives them the chance to experience different things before they're sort of stuck.
Yeah, which is something I wish I had, because at Curious Pastimes I was quite stuck. I started out, my baby stats were dagger, light armor, and what was it? Dagger, light armor, and corporeal 2, which is one of the greater spellcasting magics. And obviously, I can't talk because I was still yabbering. I was still like murmuring at the time. Couldn't really fight, but it still was like you had to pick something. You can't not pick something as you can't like start a character out with 0 skill points. You've got to build a character.
I
So
see. I
what
think
we've done is
Richie would disagree with you there because
okay.
when she was LG of the Teutonia, there was a whole discussion about whether you needed stats to be Faction Command or not, and Mara had was a 0 point character.
Oh, I didn't even know that. My
Yeah,
apologies.
yeah, she was a 0 point character for about 2 years, just to prove a point, because
Fair
Richie's
enough.
like
I didn't
that.
even notice that. My apologies.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
don't think many people did, but Richie's like, no, I haven't got any points, can't do anything. I can use a dagger because it's free, and that was about it.
yeah. But more for the children's side of things, it's one of those things where it it was kind of seen as no, they've got to take stats just to build
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Was I think now, especially as children are coming into the hobby and you're seeing them being more creative, I've noticed recently at events, we're seeing children who come into the game with full on like unicorn based kit
yeah,
and then decide, you know what, I don't like this, and they build something else. But it's because they're allowed that free flowing nature to learn. It's
yeah,
something Curious Pastimes has done recently changed as they have got rid of their races. So you
yeah,
can now play a lot of different things as much as you like, really.
yeah. To
Um,
change how you look.
yeah. But now, um, well, how we want to approach it is we want to make sure that kids feel that they can do everything and they can
Yeah,
approach everything. It doesn't feel locked away from them. The only thing
that's the
that's
thing, isn't
locked
it?
away
Because
are battles.
yeah, it's kind of easy to sort of say, well, children don't have access to this bit because of their age or whatever. But it's almost for me, it seems a bit like it's a lazy way of doing things because you can just go, "Oh no, children can't do it." Whereas actually, it's much more rewarding to get them involved in things. I mean, I remember Curious Pastimes a few years ago where they had the children doing a rite whilst there was a battle going on, and the children were far enough away, but the effect of that rite affected the stats of the things in the battle, and that made the kids feel part of it and was great.
Yeah, I remember, God, we're talking over 15 years ago now. It was one of the first times we went to pack our scout camp
Yeah,
for Curious Pastimes, and the children were sent out to build a golem. And the whole plot
yes,
line was that we had to build this golem so we could send it out and it could affect, I think it was one of the battles that weekend, because they brought the golem out the rest of the time. But there
yeah.
was this evil witch that was going around the factions trying to collect the kids, like to get them in the circle to kill them, because it was seen
As you
as
do. Yeah, because that's okay. Killing children's fine enough.
yeah, yeah. But all the kids had gone to bed when the encounter
Ah,
arrived.
that right there, that's genius. If they've done that deliberately, though, that is genius. They send an evil person out to find all the kids and kill them, but after all the kids have gone to bed, so the parents know about it and can be really upset about this evil woman, but the children don't have to know. That's genius.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was planned or not, but we both know, as we both know from how encounters run at Curious Pastimes, they funnel through a system, and
Yeah,
it takes a while for ones to come through like that. But it added that element of oh damn, the kids actually have something.
yeah,
And for years, the kids had this golem that would walk around and would follow the kids. I know that kind of I think it got destroyed a couple of years ago because it got so overpowered. It
mm,
became the equivalent of a I think it came like a true construct, so it just needed to have literally a spirit part in it, and it would have been
yeah,
immortal.
yeah. It's probably
Um,
not okay. We don't want
yeah,
immortal golems forever.
yeah, no. But yeah, I think children, especially in LARP, have definitely become something greater in the hobby, and especially within education as well. Seedling Productions themselves actually run an EduLARP,
Yep.
which is something that is very unique. You don't see many of them around, specifically the UK. We've got a few around, as we both know. We know a few people that run ones for schools, but to see a built EduLARP on a site that they own themselves, that they can build stuff on, it looks incredible when they do. And I know you've seen it from crewing them in the past.
Yeah,
It's an incredible site, and how they build everything for the kids.
yeah. I think it's again, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's so I know they've done it for. for children with differing needs and things like that. And it takes them out of the traditional sort of classroom and gives them an opportunity to do something different.
Yeah. And going back to the subject of like what LARP has done for me, for a second, I think also within education, it's helped me learn things. So without LARP, I probably wouldn't have done as well on my English and my maths
Yeah,
and learning those things, because at LARP, especially with money, you're learning how to count things. You learn how many coins
yeah,
to count and how to do times tables. And okay, if we're, like say, if we're building up an alchemical potion, you need 4 alchemical oils and this herb, and you're having to go and learn what those things are and write them down. And on the English side, it also helps creative writing.
yeah.
It's such a big part. I passed my GCSE writing a lot of the plot, which
It's
was
amazing, isn't it? Because it's things you don't think about though. Because to a lot of people, that's just part of the game. But like you say, to someone that's growing up in that game, actually, it is it is giving them the skills to do things in life that maybe they've not picked up at school, or it's reinforcing what they're learning at school. So it's really cool from that point of view.
yeah, and I think as well, I think it should be kind of more highlighted as well that it's not just the English and maths, for example, and you can learn stuff like science,
Yeah,
biology, chemistry, um, physics to a degree, depending on where you go.
yeah. I suppose
Um,
depending on the laps as well, doesn't it? 'Cause different laps will do different things. But yeah,
yeah, so you get to see that whole expanding feel for it, instead of just teachers that I've had in the past who've gone, "Oh, he's just blagging off school so he can go on a holiday." No, I'm actually learning and learning things.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's seen because LARP is a hobby and it is a holiday, it is fun. People don't necessarily see the other side of it, and it's the same with all sort of imagination, creative tabletop role playing games, all those kind of things. Yes, they're fun, but the gamification of learning is such a big thing nowadays. So many people looking at things and going, well, actually, if we teach this in a way that is fun, people learn.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it with me. How much have I learned in life just by going to
Yeah,
events? I remember, I think it was me and you were on the battlefield, and we had to work out how we were going to get these, I think it was like pillars or something, like off the field. And it was like, okay, how many people we're going to need for this? How many people
yeah,
we're going to need for that? And that's maths. You quick mathing that to try and work
yeah.
out that. And mechanically, it's okay. Well, a referee's just told me I need 4 people. Well, I'm going to get 6 just to make sure I've got that extra hand in case someone drops off. Um,
Yeah, it's like
but
problem
yeah,
solving and things, isn't it? That you wouldn't
yeah,
necessarily think about, but actually, suddenly you're in a situation where you need to think about those things.
yeah. And I think that's something that LARPs are doing much better now, especially now that battles are at LARP are becoming more diverse and
Yeah,
stories are becoming more diverse. It's no longer just, oh, we'll kill that goblin clan over there. It's more now,
there's a undead. Let's go hit it. There's a lot more
yeah,
behind it nowadays.
yeah, and the societies to that as well now, which is really cool. Um, like I remember your first time back in the step, 2021, I want to say,
Probably you've got a better memory than me. Yeah, that sounds about
because
right.
it was you and Ange who came in together for the
Yep,
first time, and the plot line was Blink, who was our big orc war boss problem
yep,
that we couldn't get around for a long time. But because it had a foundation of storytelling behind it and it had society based things in it, it made it so much more expansive outside of just being the generic hit the orc, it's dead.
yeah,
Because you guys brought in Paddy as War and brought
yep.
in that relationship storyline and brought in the family dynamic into it, which was really cool. Um, but yeah, it's the problem solving, it's learning skills that you might not even know exist in your mind and realize you're doing it in the
Yep.
field. Um, Public speaking is a massive one that you see nowadays. I mean, you've thrown me into situations before with plot where I've had to do public speaking
Yeah,
yourself.
you got over it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I like to think it helps.
But those things really help out and get those things developed.
So just on a final point to wrap up then. So would you
Yeah,
recommend LARP and tabletop role playing to new players, to people with families?
absolutely. I think it would, especially for families that might not be as well favored for financially, etc. Actually, having things like Dungeons and Dragons, you don't need the books, you don't even need a DM screen. You could just use a laptop or use a piece of paper
Yeah.
and a pen, and you can still create those great stories and the bonds that come from that. And I've seen it before where it's brought families back together through LARP or through TTRPGs or through even as far as RPGs on computers and things of that nature. That's brought families back together,
Yeah.
um, which is incredible to see, and it allows the children to then grow up knowing, okay, this is what's acceptable, this is what not acceptable within a family environment instead of being in a school or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think families need to get into it more and be. I think having TTRPGs and LARPs and things of that nature really should come back to families and go, yes, I think we can. That should be a part of our lives a little bit and give us something to fall back on if we're having a hard time.
Brilliant. Okay, that's been really good talking to you, Jack. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
your
it's
time
lovely,
today.
Nevin. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and no doubt, as narrative legacies, no, better. I'll start that sentence again. As narrative legacies gets further along, I'd love to touch base with you a bit more about that and just see how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done interviews already with a lot book as well, who have
Yep.
talked through us a bit, so you can find us out. But yeah, I'll definitely ping you some links to the wiki and stuff as well, Steve.
Yep. Brilliant. Yeah, and anyone that's not seen, if you want to watch someone else talk about LARP, he's quite good. I mean, he's doing it a lot longer than me. LARP book is available on YouTube. Rob's a lovely guy, and they do a lot of really good stuff. So,
Yeah,
um,
and you're growing with it, Steve. So like, you're doing an amazing job.
thank you.
I know your viewership's been amazing. So
Yeah. Right. Brilliant. Well, thanks for that, Jack. And no doubt we'll talk again soon.
yeah, speak soon.